The cleaner environment, the healthier life. What is environment? What are the most important elements of environment? What should we do to keep the environment clean? Along the line, we'll get answers for these questions. Hello, I'm Abulfaz Askari with my colleague Habibullah Salihin, and the issue that we are going to be talking about is environment. First of all, I'm going to have a definition of environment. The place where we live and objects that are existed around us is called environment. We cannot limit environment to one substance or one element. Environment has various substances and elements that are related to one another. They are working together all the time. Without existing one of those elements, our environment stops working and the whole world will be destroyed.
Environment is very vital in our life, and this environment is formed from some fundamental elements which are really crucial in our life, such as sun, wind, rain, water, and soil. These are the most important elements of environment, and they have a direct relationship with each other. They work with each other like a system and form the whole environment. Sun is high on the list in our life. Everything that exists in this environment needs the sun. Without sun, living is impossible. It radiates light and heat or solar energy, which makes it possible for life to exist on Earth. Plants need sunlight to grow. Animals, including humans, need for food and the oxygen they produce. Without the heat from the sun, Earth would freeze and the whole environment would destroy. Wind is a renewable energy source. Overall, using wind to produce energy has fewer effects on the environment than many other energy sources. Wind can carry moisture, heat, cloud from one place to another place and cause rain. Rain plays a huge role in our life. It has a very calming and refreshing effect on us, and the sound of raindrops can be very relaxing. And also, it helps maintain the water cycle and provides fresh water for everyone. Soil is really important in our life, and it has various usages. For instance, we can grow different kinds of plants on the soil, and we can find different types of mines under the ground. Without the existence of soil, we are not able to live on the environment. By and large, some fundamental elements form environment and cause the environment work. Without these elements, environment isn't able to work correctly.
An interview with an expert about environment.
Today we have an expert with us to explain us about the environment, and we will ask some questions of him and he will answer us some questions, okay? First of all, I want to ask him what's the environment and what effects does environment have in our life, okay?
To start with about the definition of the environment that you asked. Personally, I believe that environment is the ecosystem or place where we can support lifestyles, different lifestyles. And about the role of environment, so that's clear and it's obvious for everyone. Without environment, the formation of life was impossible. And today, by observing the air pollution and water pollution and other forms of pollution, we can see and we can understand how important is environment.
Okay, that's great. I completely agree with you. Okay, could you tell us what's the effects of pollution on the environment?
We're talking about the pollution that we have in environment. Let's talk about different types of that and then the effects of that. As you know, the most important form of pollution is air pollution. Air pollution comes from overuse, or we can say just the usage of fossil fuels that causes the emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere of the Earth. And this causes that we face a lack of fresh air and lack of oxygen for breathing. And the problem causes numerous issues for people, living things, even plants and other forms of living beings. You've got respiratory problems, you've got problem with your breathing, and these are all the effects of air pollution. And the second one, I was talking the water pollution, as you know, the garbage and all the materials that are their trashes and they're loaded in sea and rivers, this causes water pollution and causes the marine living beings to die and perish. That's very important and serious because the disappearance of living beings in sea affects the lifestyle of those ones that are living in land as well. And next we can talk about the noise pollution that causes distraction for humans and also other forms of living beings that we have.
Thank you, you made some good points. And now I should ask you another question. What people should do to keep our environment cleaner and more safe?
That's simple. We've got plenty of information about this, how to keep our environment clean. The United Nations and other organizations that are working on these issues, they've got many suggestions for people and recommendations that can help environment be cleaner day by day. You can recycle and reuse the materials that they were once used, and you can use less electricity and less personal transportations. You can use public transportation and other forms of transportation that they don't pollute the air, like electric cars and bicycles. And then about the water pollution, you can avoid loading your trashes in seas and rivers. And I think these are the most vital and important tips that we can have for decreasing the pollution of air and also water.
Okay, that's great. And what should do our government about environment?
The government of the countries, they're directly responsible for controlling the pollution in the countries because they're committed to different documents and certificates that they assign. They have their signature at the bottom of them from the United Nations. This means that the government, they must control the usage of different natural sources in the countries. For example, they have to control how many trees are cut every day in one country, because cutting trees has a direct effect on air pollution, and the government, for example, in this part needs to control it. And other parts of the environment as well, they can control the use of cars, they can prevent the old cars from being sold and used inside the cities, and they can have some other creative ideas to overcome the problem of pollution.
Okay, that's great. You made some good points, and and people should practical your points because your points are very useful for our lives and lifestyle. Okay, and how can we protect our environment all the time?
Protection of the environment firstly needs total awareness of the things that we have in the environment and the things that they are harmful for the environment. People of the countries, they should have information about it. If they don't know about it, so they cannot protect it. If you want your environment to be protected, first of all, we have to increase the awareness of people about it. People should know about it. People should know how serious is the problem. And by knowing the problem and by understanding that how serious the problem is, they can take steps toward protecting the environment that we have, including planting trees and protecting the current trees that we have. We have also other tips like avoid using public transportation in order to keep the environment clean and protect the beautiful environment that we have.
You know that keeping environment is very vital in our life, and it's very useful in our life. Yes. Why people pollute the environment? What do you think of this question?
As I previously mentioned, it's due to people's unawareness of the problem. People that are using, for example, very old cars, first of all, they don't know that this car is very harmful for the environment, because the government and the organizations, they've never tried to give information for less people. And second, even those people that are cutting the trees, that can be about unawareness as well. They don't understand how serious the problem is, so they continue destroying the beautiful environment that we have. And for overcoming this problem, as I suggested earlier, you can have some programs to spread awareness about the environment, and I think this would be the most useful step that we can take.
Okay, that's completely true. That's great. And I want people to observe the rules that Mr. Rafai gave us, and I hope that you enjoy our video, and thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Perspective of people about environment.
Are you an eco-friendly person?
Yes, I think because I have a bike and I have a motorcycle, but I don't use that because it's not a eco-friendly thing. I always use with my bike, and I don't use plastic. Then I go to shop everywhere. I say I don't need plastic. I have a drink bag.
Okay. Why do you need the environment?
Environment because because we need to have a good life for good life to brace to live good, to don't have any sick don't have any sick.
How can we keep the environment?
uh, environment was take the tree a lot and water all the tree and water all the tree and then water all the tree, yes, and that don't use plastic plastic things in urban. We delete all the plastic things and from them from the broken core and the things we must use it because they are very bad to environment.
You're an eco-friendly person.
Of course, everybody should be.
So what do you do for the environment?
So cleaning the environment is a responsibility. As you know, the environment somewhere we live and we are dependent to it, and without it we can't live it actually. So we have to be careful about our environment, be responsibility for cleaning it, and it's somehow the job of everybody to keep it clean because nobody will live longer than the environment.
So how can we keep the environment clean?
So by nowadays, it's the period of plastic, and plastic is I think actually the biggest enemy of environment and our culture, exactly our nature, our culture of humanity, and the longness, and actually the period and the life of humans. So we have to prevent using a lot of plastics and using putting the plastics on our streets. And the plastic, is the biggest enemy of our environment. So we can prevent using plastic a lot. And by this, I think it would be the best way to keep our, our environment clean. So we have to keep our environment by preventing using plastic, and also another way we can keep our environment clean is to not actually cutting the trees and the grasses, and planting a lot of trees and grasses, and improve our plantings, our green grasses, and you're producing they produce oxygen and clean weather, and this would be somehow a good motivation for everybody to improve their environment.
Yes, eco-friendly person.
For sure, yes, I'm eco-friendly because you know that when I'm growing up, first of all, my mother or my my parents say that be friendly or eco-friendly person, yeah. And after that, when I growing up, I became a student, and my teacher said you have to keep we have to keep our environment clean. Yes, you know that, and you know that nowadays about I say about Afghanistan generally, yeah. About Afghanistan, I say most of the people in Afghanistan they didn't pay attention to their environment.
Of course.
Yeah.
How can we keep the environment clean?
Yes, you know that we have to reduce our especially plastic on shop. Or the shopkeeper must say to your customer, say that bring something else instead of plastic, and you know that it's better that we have something else instead of plastic. And on the other hand, we can say we don't or we shouldn't cut the trees, because the trees makes lots of oxygen, and by that by oxygen we can be alive.
Why do we need the environment?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, we need the environment to be healthy, to be have a good. I think have a good also have a good behavior, and also environment causes that. Most of the people, for example, environment, as I say, it has a lot of oxygen. And, for example, trees or greens or another thing. It makes a lot of oxygen, and by that you can be alive.
Friendly person. Yes, every person should be eco-friendly because we need the remote environment and should keep our environment clean and safety.
Okay. What should we do for the environment?
We should do not use the plastic as one person uses plastic. And for shopkeeper, I said that instead of plastic, they bring another thing like having for this thing that the boy yourself. And from the parents say that they don't use the plastic because the plastic is the most dangerous for the environment, as you know.
How can we keep the environment clean?
Can keep the environment clean by plant the trees, by the grass, the trees, and like this.
That was great. How to keep the environment clean? Keeping the environment clean is crucial for maintaining a healthy ecosystem and ensuring the well-being of future generations. Here are some key tips you can take. Tip number 1. Observe 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce. Minimize waste by choosing products with less packaging and using fewer disposable items. Reuse. Use items more than once when possible. Recycle. Properly make something from recyclables like paper, plastic, metals, and so on. Tip number 2. Conserve energy and water. Turn off lights and unplug devices when they're not in use. Use energy efficient appliances and light bulbs. Fix leaks and use water-saving fixture. Tip number 3. Limit use of plastic. Avoid using single-use plastics like straws, bags, water bottles, and containers. Tip number 4. Proper waste disposal. Dispose of hazardous waste such as batteries and electronics at designated facilities. Compost organic waste to reduce landfill usage. Tip number 5. Eco-friendly products. Choose products made from sustainable materials. Avoid products with harmful chemicals. Tip number 6. Support sustainable practices. Buy locally grown and organic food to reduce the carbon footprint. Support businesses that prioritize sustainability. Tip number 8. Educate and advocate. Raise awareness about environmental issues. Advocate for policies and practices that protect the environment. Tip number 9. Reduce vehicle emission. Use public transportation, carpool, bike, or walk when possible. Maintain your vehicle to ensure it runs efficiently. Tip number 10. Plant trees and garden. Trees absorb carbon dioxide, produce oxygen, avoid flooding, and clean the weather. Start a garden to promote biodiversity and local food productions. To sum up, every small action contributes to a longer impact. By making conscious choices and encouraging others to do the same, we can keep the environment clean.
On the whole, environment is one of our requirements and we all need to the environment. Environment play a massive role in our life. It forms our life. And the elements of environment form the environment. Without the environment, living is impossible. And we should make an attempt to protect our environment all the time. And we should try to be an eco-friendly person for the environment and preserve it.